Welcome to the Working Women's Channel. My name is Clara Capano, and we're going to share the real secrets to success. Come on in. Welcome. And today I have the amazing Gea Carr with me today talking about success. And, you know, Gea, I have had so many people on that I have been friends with, but, you know, I think you win the award for my longest friend because I met you on the very first day of kindergarten, and you know, we've maintained a friendship, even though it's been a distance friendship for many years. So it's an honor to have you here with me.
Oh, thanks for having me. And yeah, my favorite play dates were at your house when we were little.
Yeah, we had a good time. Lots of
We
good
sure
times.
did. Oh my gosh.
I want to just kind of start off because I know you are a very busy woman and you've got a lot of success going on in your world right now. And I just wanted to kind of ask, you know, the whole purpose of this TV show is to, you know, let women in business know that it's okay to have some stumbling blocks and to uncover the real sides of success. So, as you were on your road to success, can you think of a time where maybe there was a particular challenge that came up for you and how you overcame that?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot, you know, it's been a long time coming. And I think in the beginning of my career, I never would have thought of myself as a businesswoman. You know, I thought of myself, you know, my background was modeling. And so I came into a pretty easy, quick, profession of making money. But then I think after I had my daughter, and we had to stay in one place because she was starting to go to school, things changed. And I wasn't able to make as much money as I had before because I wasn't really able to travel. And so so that was kind of a new experience for me, and I had to find ways to reinvent myself. And so, like, for example, when you ask about a tough time, I remember going to the orthodontist. I was a single mom, no child support, and went to the orthodontist with my daughter, and they said that she needed braces. And at the time it was going to be about $10,000 for her braces. And that was a lot of money for me at that time. I couldn't even get my mind around how I was going to pay for her braces. And then they told me they had a payment plan and that I could just write a check every month. And it was like $116 a month. I remember because I made payments on her braces. And I just remember that kind of looming over my head for many, many, many years, that I just had to pay off her braces. And so I was able to reinvent myself and create new things. I created a job teaching, and so I taught at a modeling. They had a John Robert Powers, and I was able to get a job. And I went into the interview. I'll never forget it, with this woman, and she said, "Oh, well, you know, you're a real model. This is so exciting." I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, we pay $25 an hour." And I was like, "Oh, well, then, you know, that's not going to work for me." You know, I mean, you know, and so I did negotiate her to $75 an hour, which was really good, especially for the time in the early 90s. It was, you know, quite a bit of money for what I was doing. And so I turned that into actually a really lucrative job. And I was there for a couple of years, and it definitely got my daughter's teeth fixed.
Fantastic. I'm actually a John Robert Powers graduate, so I know exactly where you were.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could have taught you.
That would have been a lot more fun. Well, that's a great story. And this idea of reinventing yourself, I think, you know, that is so powerful, not just even now in the midst of COVID, because I think so many times we've had to do that. But I think, you know, women in business, especially if they decide to have a family, you have to do that. So, you know, what were some other lessons maybe, or some words of wisdom that you can share with some women about having to reinvent yourself?
Well, I always just think about trying to think outside of the box, you know. I'll just go back to my first career, you know, which was a very exciting career that most people don't get to do, to be a model and move to Paris when you're 17 and make a lot of money. But it's not a lasting career either. And so I remember when I went into my daughter's school, they asked me if I could do, they had career day for the kids. And they said, "Well, we've never had a model. It would be really great if you come in." I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, maybe one of these kids in the whole school could actually have a career in modeling, and that would have been my daughter. So I was just like, this is not going to help anybody. So I came up with a list of all the jobs around modeling and acting that people could do, because there's so many wonderful jobs in the entertainment industry that people don't know about. Like, I mean, somebody's a union guy that just goes around and tapes cables on the ground, pretty much anyone could do that. So it was just kind of thinking about other ways that people could have a career in the entertainment industry if that was something that they really wanted to do. What I always tell people, and what has always worked for me, is to follow your bliss. And if you are happy and you're doing something that you care about and you love and you see value in, then you'll be successful. And sometimes it takes a while.
Yeah, it does. But that's a really great piece of advice, and I love how you stepped back and said, well, let's look at this. Let's really talk about what would be of value to these students. And rather than, just coming up here and just talking about this fantasy, let's make it real, and let's show them how they can make being in the entertainment industry a reality for them. So I thought that was really smart for you to do. Yeah. Another thing that you hit on a few minutes ago, this idea when you renegotiated from $25 to $75 an hour, this concept of fighting for ourselves, standing in our truth and demanding our worth. That's something that I think a lot of women in business struggle with. So how did you learn that? How did you learn how to fight for yourself and stand up for yourself?
I think it's important. I've been doing it my whole life. I had a single mom, and my grandmother was single. My grandfather passed away very young. And I think the women in my family we just kind of had to make stuff happen. I remember my grandmother, she never pumped gas in her life. Like, that was something she never did. That wasn't a thing of her generation. Women did not pump gas. And we got to a place in the world where you couldn't find a full service gas station. I just kind of, so I just started doing everything, at a very young age. And I believe that it's pretty easy to empower yourself. It's a choice that you make. When you walk into a room, you can decide to, own the room, or you can decide to let someone else do it. I have a friend. She's a CEO, a woman, and she's walked into several rooms and had men come into the room and say, "Oh, when is your boss going to get here?" And she's like, "Oh, you're looking at the boss." So,
Exactly.
I learn a lot from other women. I try to surround myself with people that are inspiring to me, that, I love to learn from people. And so I just try to surround myself with smart and interesting women that I can learn from.
And I think, again, from an early age, that was impressed upon you, just knowing your family. You always had the most interesting people. I loved coming to your house because it was so cultural and just people from all different kinds of backgrounds. And I think that did lead into your growth mindset and your ability to, again, be able to go and adapt anywhere that you are.
Yeah. And I think that's important is to actually have a worldview. I think that what we see so much in America is that people don't really see outside of the walls of our country. And there's just such a vast world out there with so many possibilities and ideas and opinions. And it's so important to really have a worldview.
I love that. So let me ask you this, having your daughter, and I know that you were a younger mother, and you already mentioned, the trade-off of not traveling and, sort of putting your career of modeling on hold so that you could be more stationary and give her the foundation of going to school. What would you say were some other trade-offs that you've had to make, along your career path in balancing the work and the home life?
Well, there's so many, and then so many different careers I've been in, such different ones. Starting with the modeling. I mean, with the modeling, one of the main trade-offs was like, oh, well, I'm not going to have that second piece of pizza because I've got a photo shoot in the morning, and, I'm going to be in swimwear and stuff like that. And then as my daughter grew up, we were traveling with nannies and stuff. But when she started becoming of school age, it was important to have her have roots and be in a stable environment and not on airplanes and hotels and everything. And so that was a big trade-off for me to kind of give up a very successful career and kind of root myself in San Jose where I live and have her start school. And, we always make, getting up early in the morning. I mean, how many moms are, the alarm goes off and you just do it. I can't tell you, Clara, when she went off to college, because I did it all through high school, get up every day, get her, her breakfast, take her to school. But when she went to college, I think for like a couple weeks, I slept till like 10 in the morning. It was incredible. I'd never done that. I'd never slept in, So there's just so much we have to do as moms that are compromising ourselves, what we would like to do versus what we need to do for our children.
And I think just again, looking at it that you can still have it all, even though you can't do it all right now. And that there will be times, to be able to come back and sleep in again and, go back to the little luxuries that we had beforehand.
Yeah. Reading a book is a luxury. And that was something that's
what my mom said too.
Yeah.
So, tell me this. I know that you are very close with your daughter, and your daughter, is very tenacious, just like you are. And I know she's working on her career and going to grad school. What do you think are some lessons that you've been able to pass on to her?
Well, it can be difficult being a young person, especially these days, trying to figure out your path. And, it used to be that if you were a doctor or a lawyer, you would be rich and you could buy a house and no problem. Even teachers could buy houses in the olden days. But now it's very difficult to have a career. My daughter, when she got to UCLA, she decided she wanted to change majors. Freshman year, and she decided she wanted to major in classics, and she's an ancient civilizations major. So she was like, there's no way I'm going to ever make any money, Mom. I'm going to be a teacher. The best I could do is be a professor. And I just said, you know what? It doesn't matter. If you love it, you will figure it out. Your path will open up to you and you will find a career in doing what you love and what you're passionate about. And that's just so important to just follow your bliss.
It is. And it'll, she'll create something. She'll find a path. She'll find a niche. And again, as long as she is passing on value and the things that she is passionate about, it'll all come together for her.
Yeah, I think it's important.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned, you've had several careers, and I'm sure in some of those careers, you faced some setbacks. What was maybe a setback, and how did you face that setback and, retune yourself to be able to go forward and not let it keep you back?
Yeah. So after my daughter started elementary school, I had to reinvent myself again. And I was trying to figure out, I bought a house. So I knew about that. And I had to figure out how I could make the kind of money that I needed to make to support my lavish lifestyle, and I thought, I was walking my dog one day and there was a house for sale down the street, and it was $1 million. And this was back in the 90s. And it was $1 million. And I remember just like thinking, wow, that's a lot of money for a house. And so I thought, I think I might get into real estate because I've always loved houses. When I was little, I thought I wanted to be an architect. And so, I was always very interested in houses. And so I decided to get my real estate license. And once again, trying to surround yourself by smart women. There was a mom in my daughter's Brownie troupe who was a real estate agent. And so I talked to her one day. I said, oh, do you like jazz music? And she said, yeah. I said, well, let's go. There's this jazz club. So we went to this jazz club, and we just kind of hit it off. And she said, we became good friends. And she said, when you get your license, why don't you come work with me? And so, I got to learn a lot from her. And that really helped me. There's been a lot of times that work has been slim, and 2008, that was kind of a rough time, but you do your best. During those times when we had all the short sales in Silicon Valley, you'd go into a house and it would be stripped inside. They'd take the sink, they'd take the refrigerator, they'd take the wiring out of the walls. It was crazy.
And again, you just have to pick yourself up and just keep going forward.
Yeah, just keep on keeping on.
And I love how, when you met up with the woman in your brownie troop, how it wasn't, oh, hey, can you just teach me how to sell real estate? It was, let's build a relationship first. And I love how you were open enough to, look at partnering with someone and again, learning and opening yourself up, because even though you're a very strong person yourself, knowing that you can still learn from other people. And I think being able to be strong enough to ask for help, to say, teach me, let me
Right.
learn, and
Yeah.
growing from there. So I think that's a beautiful thing. So let me ask you this, because again, you do have a successful career, you have a good marriage, you have raised a beautiful daughter, and I know that family is really important to you. How do you make it all work now to find time to enjoy all the little bits of it?
I think it's very important to take time, for yourself. I think one of the reasons I've been successful is that I do take time for myself. I do run. I have to have, it's more of my therapy to have a little exercise. It just gives me my time for myself, and it makes me feel better. People need to find the thing that makes them feel better. We take time. We do our Friday night. We do our dinners together as a family. We try to turn off our phones and just be together and talk about, our week. It's very important to show the people that you love them. I've had a lot of loss in my life, lost a lot of people that I love. And so I think you don't take life for granted after you lose people.
True, very true. And I love that you just take that time for the simple things, having dinner, watching TV. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's just sometimes those little moments that mean everything. And just
well, I'm
taking
going to just say, one of my favorite things that's happened recently for me was on Valentine's Day, which was just a couple days ago. My husband and I, normally we do something special. Like, I can't tell you, normally we travel, we go to Hawaii, we do something, I don't know. But this year we just made dinner together in the kitchen. We drank some wine and we cooked together, and it was so fun. And that was it. And it was just honestly one of the most fun things.
See, and then, again, those simple pleasures of just being
Yeah.
able to be connected and be together. So that's wonderful. Good.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. If you were to see another woman in business who is starting her business, what would be maybe some words of wisdom that you would want to give to her if she's struggling in the beginning?
Well, I mean, life is full of struggles, and we all struggle in all different ways, but you just have to persevere. I think it's very important to find people that are successful in whatever you're doing, talk to them, learn from them, ask questions, don't be shy. Ask questions of people and find out, what you're doing wrong or how you can do better. Sometimes it's just something very simple.
I'm a big proponent of the phrase success leaves clues. And I think, again, we can learn so much by watching the patterns of others, both good and bad. And I think that is really strong, is, to think about who is it you want to become, and then, start to develop those habits and disciplines of those people that you admire. So talk to us a little bit about what's next for you. What do you see next in your vision for your life and business?
Well, there are some exciting things happening right now in my business and my life. I've become, after 21 years selling real estate, I've become one of the top agents in the world, which is very exciting, and I'm very proud of that. I had to scratch my way here. It's not it hasn't all been easy. It's not a cakewalk, and I work really hard. Some days I work 12, 14 hours up at 11 at night. My client the other day said, "I can't believe you sent an email at 3:40 in the morning." I was like, I can't believe it either, but I couldn't sleep because I'm just I'm kind of driven. So next,
just kinda.
I think the reason I'm successful, honestly, Clara, is because I'm happy. I'm happy. Like, I love what I'm doing. I love getting appointment. Like, I love everything about it. And so because of that, I think that it makes me happy, and I attract people to me because I'm happy.
I think that is such a great point. And, when we are more content, studies even show, when we're more content, we tend to be about 30%, more productive. And I read something the other day where somebody was asking a question on Facebook. is motivation or discipline more important? And my thought when I read that was, well, if you're motivated, because again, you know what drives you and you know what you're passionate about, the discipline is easy because you know why you're doing what you're doing. And it's so
And
much
it
easier
doesn't,
to show up every day.
yeah, and then it
Yeah.
doesn't really feel like discipline. It kind of turns it into motivation.
That's great. It's so great, to see. And I know that same for me. I love what I do. I always say if I won the lottery, I would still be doing what I'm doing. I might do it a little differently where I'm teaching classes in Fiji or something, but I still love, what I do. And again, it makes it enjoyable to be able to get up every day. So
Yeah.
I just think it's fantastic. So in wrapping it all together, any last, words or, feelings of inspiration that you would like to leave with our viewers?
Well, it's fun to talk to you and see you. I'm so proud of you and how you've created this amazing career for yourself. So I just want to say that. And I think that's what it's about. I read this book, Bill Moyers and Joseph Campbell, many years ago, The Power of Myth. And that book just kind of transformed my life because it was about follow your bliss and do what makes you happy. And so, I mean, I think if people do what makes them happy, they'll be successful. I feel that really strongly. So those are my parting
That's
words.
great. I think that's fantastic. So as our viewers are watching this, some of them might want to reach out to you, connect with you, possibly for business or even just to learn more about you. Where can our viewers find you? What's the easiest way for them to find you?
www.geacarr.com. That's my website.
Fantastic.
So yeah, you can find my cell phone on there, my email, everything's there. I'm very accessible. So yeah, it's easy to find me.
Perfect. Well, again, I thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure reconnecting with you. I think over the last couple of years, we've probably talked more than in the past decade. And when I've been able to get to the Bay Area, we've even met up a couple of times for some champagne, and I can't wait to do that even more. And yes, we will do some quarantini parties together. So I just appreciate it. Even from being a young kid, I always admired you. I admired your grace. I admired your fearlessness, the things that you got me to do when I was terrified to do them.
We were crazy.
We were a little crazy, but good crazy.
Yeah.
But, I just always admired, and I knew you were destined for great things. So it's no surprise for me to be able to see, where you are and that you're at the top of your career, because you just are. You're a bright light, and, you're always going to be, someone who is a winner in everything they do because you show up and you give your full heart to everything. So again, I honor you for that.
Thank you.
And I just say thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, honey. I love you.
Thanks so much.
Am I allowed to say that?
You can tell me that all day long.